still in it. Why don't you not be over here and you go to school?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Brushy Creek Regional Utility Authority meeting. Today is Wednesday, January 23rd, and it looks like we have a full quorum and ready to do business. May we have roll call, please?
President Navarrete.
Present.
Vice President Thomas.
Present.
Secretary Flores.
Here.
Director Duffy.
Present.
Director Basie.
Here.
Director Seiler.
Here.
Okay, looks like we're all here. Any citizens' comments this evening? Okay, looks like we have none. Moving on to item number 4, we'll have approval of the minutes for November 28th, 2018.
Move to approve 4A as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Thomas and a second by Secretary Flores. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to number 5, staff reports, item 5A. Consider an update from the General Manager regarding the status of Phase 2 activities, including commencement of marine drilling, the Perdonas Electric Cooperative Agreement, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permitting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to give you a progress report today because we are kicking off the new year with a lot of progress. And the water treatment plant expansion and the water intake expansion projects are underway. I want to let you know that the contractor is going to need the storage tank and the treatment tank dewatered for some of their activities. So we have commenced that, dewatered the facilities, and just for a temporary period of time, since the water demand is low right now, and Cedar Park and Leander's needs are being met by their water treatment plants, so we could take the plant offline. So that we'll have it up before water demands start increasing. But mostly today I wanted to talk about the deep water intake design. It's moving forward, and I want to update you on 3 related items that are getting started. Firstly, soil borings are going to be needed all along the tunnel route to collect information for the tunnel design. So a drilling rig will be set up along the route to drill the soil borings. Well, there's one short section of the tunnel that extends out below the bed of Lake Travis. And so to collect the soil information on that section that's below water, we're going to need to set up a floating platform to set that drilling rig on. And so that is going to be visible beginning in late February. And we expect it to be out there about a month. So it's possible that you might be contacted about that. So I want to make you aware. And since this is going to be on the water near Valente, we are reaching out to the Valente leadership to make sure they have the information they need to understand and then to answer any questions. And in fact, I've scheduled a meeting soon with the incoming president, or the incoming mayor, David Springer. So we'll have a chance to meet and greet, get up to speed with him and some of his new council, and just let him have the information he needs if he gets any questions on that. So that's the first item. The second item is we are moving forward with extending electrical power to the new pump station. This is quite a task. It's about 4 miles of power line to get down there, and we're going to need temporary power for construction and then permanent power for those big pumps that we're going to be putting in down there. So we met with Perdonas Electric Co-op and are working towards an agreement. And PEC has shown up. You know, it's been a couple of years we've been working on this, but they seem very motivated to get an agreement in place. They brought 8 staff members to our last meeting, including 3 vice presidents. So They say they are really engaged and wanting to work with us, and so we're continuing to work with them on a few issues, and we're hoping that we could bring an agreement to the board in February, hopefully, because we need to get that part going. And then the last item is about one of the many permits that we will need for this project. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has jurisdiction in our project area because we're going to be doing some construction in Lake Travis. Well, the Corps of Engineers has a reputation for being slow and somewhat difficult to work with. We had a meeting about a month ago, and it was clear this wasn't going to be an easy permit to work on. So we know there are several possible permit routes we could take. The biggest concern we have is that there might be some permit conditions or requirements that get added, and we want to make sure that we'd be comfortable with them. So I'm asking the board to authorize us to hire an attorney to help us develop strategy on how we move forward with the permit. And we are talking to Lloyd Gosling. They have a lot of experience in this area, specifically with this type of core permitting in Texas. And so the next board item you'll see is seeking your approval for a contract to begin to use Lloyd Gosling to help advise us on the permitting path. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Board, do we have any questions? I'm just excited to see us move this far ahead. Glad these days are coming. I know it's going to be rough going forward, but I know you're up to task. There is no action on this item, correct?
Not on the report, no.
Okay, so we're going to move forward with item 6, which, as Ms. Bondi mentioned, are resolutions. Item 6A, consider a resolution authorizing the president to execute an engagement letter with Lloyd, Gosling, Rochelle, and Townsend PC to assist with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permitting for Phase 2 deepwater intake. The board, I'll motion to approve that.
So moved.
So we have a motion for approval by myself, President Navarrete, with a second by Secretary Flores. All those in favor say aye.
One question.
Oh, yes, sir. Any questions?
Is there a not to exceed amount in this engagement letter? I see an hourly rate, but
There is not a not to exceed amount because we don't really know exactly what the scope is. But once we meet with the attorney and we figure out what our strategy is, then we can determine how much more support we're going to need. I did ask for an estimate, however, because they couldn't really give us a specific number, and they said at the most they would expect, just giving the experience that they've had, if they spent about 5 hours a week on this for a year, it would be about $50,000. So that's probably the highest we would expect, but we can certainly decide not to use their services at some point if it looks like it's going to be too
that's
costly.
fine. And having said that, I'd like to do an amendment that we do a not to exceed of $50,000. Then at some point, if you realize that it's going to cost more because we need additional services or whatever, I don't have a problem. But I don't like approving blanket, just let anything ride type agreements, and so that's where I have a concern. So
I think it's hard at this, being a premature, we haven't really met with them in depth yet, so I think it would be hard to, I guess, to put a not to exceed limit soon in the game. I think maybe, should we come back with that?
I don't want to muddy the water. I don't want to slow it. It's just
I just feel it's so early.
but
I'd like to have some more initial meetings so we can kind of get a scope of what they're actually going to do.
And one of the other reasons that I'd like to get an attorney on board is as we start developing documents, or let's say we want to do some analysis that, to see what the possibilities are, I would want to try to keep that attorney-client privilege until we are at a point of making a decision. So they're unable to really do anything to help us understand what all we're going to be needing from them until, you know, they're under contract and able to meet with us.
Ms. Bonda, if we approve this tonight, would the scope come back to us at a later date?
This is a, at-will kind of contract, and we could amend it as we need fit, as we need to.
So maybe it would be okay to go ahead and approve the not to exceed 50,000 until further arrangements are made.
That'd be fine with me. Of course, we'll have to talk with them and make sure they're in agreement with that, but I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, if their opinion is, well, we don't want to provide services, we want to build you just indefinitely any amount we want to, then I don't know if I want to do business with them.
I'm just wondering if
I mean, you know, that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, it's up to you all. I have some concerns of not saying, I don't have a problem of, you know, continuing to fund it as we go along based on the need. I mean, that's fine. But
absolutely.
I don't sign blank checks or authorize blank checks.
Well, and I'm sure they would be fine with that.
So, okay.
So we have a motion pending. There's been a second. Director Thomas proposed an amendment, if that's friendly to both the movement and the amended. If not, the motion that's on the table would be voted upon.
Okay, so I'll happily amend my motion to include the not to exceed $50,000.
Okay. Second.
Okay. And let the records reflect that Secretary Flores has agreed to that second. So we'll move forward. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, Director closing comments regarding items of community interest. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring?
I appreciate everything moving on. It's kind of exciting to see that, you know, PEC, because I remember being in there in a meeting once a long time ago. It was
a little rough.
Yeah. So it's good to see that things are moving along and you guys are carrying it forward. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, we'll